we thought it was some good news. We thought we were going to get a raise.
That's what Ruby Luna and her coworkers first thought when they were called to an early morning meeting on Monday at the Amy's Kitchen plant in East San Jose. But instead, they were told the devastating news: the plant is closing.
Shocked, as I'm still in shock right now.
Definitely, it's in retaliation against the workers because they want to organize.
Raquel Alvarez is president of Unite Local 19, which was trying to unionize the San Jose plant. Similar efforts were underway by a different union at the company's North Bay plant in Santa Rosa, which prompted rallies earlier this year. But neither plant is yet unionized, and now the San Jose plant is closing for good.
The workers are very, upset, but not just that, sad, because right now, with the economy, with the whole inflation, and they have to support their families.
Pure Evil, the Amy's Kitchen Industry Files, Deep Dive, Capitalism, Union Busting, Slavery, True Crime, etc. My other YouTube videos related to this topic will be linked down in the description down below for more if you'd like to check them out, and it'll also be shown on the screen right now also if you'd like to check them out. So let's get started into this Pure Evil, anti-capitalism video. Amy's Kitchen, a privately held company run by the Berliner family, has been making vegetarian and organic frozen meals and prepared foods since 1987, and since then it has projected an ethos of environmental consciousness and general wholesomeness. Amy's Kitchen is the 6th largest maker of organic frozen meals in the United States. In 1997, in advertising, Amy's Kitchen says that they always cook our food with love. At Amy's, our heroes are our employees on the front lines who are coming back to work every day so we can continue to make delicious food for people to eat. The company said in one popular Facebook post at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, but one former and 4 current workers say the image is at odds with the painful capitalistic reality on the factory floor. They say that the growth of Amy's Kitchen has been made possible by increasing the speed of production lines, that workers are becoming injured in an effort to maintain the speed. They say the conditions leave them especially vulnerable to repeated stress, injuries that gradually get worse and worse over time. The workers there say the production lines have steadily increased in speed over the past few years without corresponding increases to pay or wages or better resources to prevent injuries. Amy's Kitchen employs 2,700 people across the country and cooks and packages its meals at production line facilities in Idaho, Oregon, and 2 facilities and factories in Northern California. The company also has 4 fast food restaurants on the West Coast with plans to open more in 2022. These are the victims of capitalism stories. Under capitalism, the system profits over lives every day underneath the system of capitalism. When Inez de la Luz showed up for work at the Amy's Kitchen factory in Santa Rosa, California, wearing an arm brace prescribed to her by the doctor after she couldn't move her hand at the end of a fast-paced shift making frozen burritos on the line in July 2020 in the factory, she says a supervisor manager ordered her to remove the brace and return to the production line. It was the start of a 1.5-year ordeal that would send back and forth to the doctor, who says she hesitated to give her tougher work restrictions, and eventually to a new job in the factory disinfecting the cafeteria area alongside other injured workers. De La Luz says that in the fall of 2021, when she learned that she was a candidate for surgery to treat her arm injury, Amy's Kitchen told her it was eliminating her position in the cafeteria area and laid her off. There are a lot of days I think that I'm good for nothing, that my life will never be the same, and I'll never live without pain again, she said. Maria del Carmen Gonzalez has been unable to work with her right arm after she tore a tendon in her shoulder on the production line last April. After months of physical therapy and working with just her left arm, her doctor recommended a surgery, according to medical records reviewed by NBC News. But the firm overseeing workers' compensation claims on behalf of Amy's Kitchen rejected the doctor's recommendation for surgery in October, writing that even though she wasn't progressing, surgery was not deemed medically necessary. Jada said she first felt pain in her hand in 2006, but a manager told her it was probably her pregnancy hormones. By the time she finally underwent surgery in 2008, the tendon in her right wrist was hanging on by only a thread, she said. A lot of the workers don't even call it human resources. They call it inhumane resources because they really don't care, she said. After working in the factory for 28 years and surviving cancer in 2004, Janet Branelstas has chronic pain in her shoulder and her leg, and the doctor told her she will never recover completely. Her doctor wrote a note in 2020 requesting that she be allowed to use a chair while working on the line. A supervisor initially rejected the request, she says, telling her, "We're not just going to do whatever the doctor says, we're going to do what we think is best." Barnita says she complained again, telling the supervisor that I was speaking not just for me, but for everybody. Meza, who said she was injured 6 years ago and then assigned a job during that time, required to lift 50 pounds of broccoli in violation of doctor's orders that she not lift more than 5 pounds. Recently, she says, she complained that the conveyor belt was moving too fast, even with her job as line lead. Meza says she was warned by a manager supervisor that she's not allowed to complain about the speed of the line. Del La Luz was quoted in saying, "We shouldn't be living in pain, working in pain, and constantly having pain," she says. "We don't want to be treated like donkeys anymore, or slaves." Luna started on the enchilada line at Amy's San Jose plant in December 2021, and then became a machine operator for the pizza department after 4 months. She liked the work and her coworkers, and it felt like a steady job and income, but soon she noticed that the manager and supervisor on the enchilada and pizza lines was acting very strange and sexually inappropriate. He hangs around with all the younger women in the group. She says he would laugh with them, buy them lunch, and Luna noticed he often had his hands in his pockets. It just looked kind of inappropriate behavior, she says. In interviews with 6 employees at the San Jose plant, all of whom who were employed there at the time they spoke to Eater, workers outlined a pattern of sexually inappropriate behavior and alleged that HR did nothing significant to act on complaints of harassment. In June, the union filed under unfair labor practice complaints with the participation in union activities, surveilling or creating the appearance of surveilling employees, and offering to address employer grievances or complaints in order to dissuade employees in their union support, basically union busting. However, on July 18th, Amy's Kitchen announced it would be shutting down its San Jose plant, which opened less than a year ago in expansion meant to help the company meet with consumer demands during the pandemic crisis. The shutdown would affect 300 workers and employees. Some workers felt the closure is a union-busting tactic. Workers are blindsided with this news, reads a statement from the Unite Here Local 19. On June 3rd, a worker filed a complaint to Amy's about a string of domestic violence incidents taking place at a plant over a period of 3 days in May, involving one worker repeatedly slapping another. Another worker's attempts to speak to HR about the issue, an ongoing problem, but alleged the company did nothing about it, despite rapidly firing workers and employees in the past for similar physical altercations. Workers at the San Jose plant claimed they faced similarly unsafe working conditions, including being denied breaks and bathroom breaks. One worker, Marcella, told NBC News in July that she had a burn on her neck that she alleges was caused by a plate that flew and went flying out of a malfunctioning hot oven. Sonia, who began working in the enchilada packing in October 2021 and moved to the enchilada assembly in June 2022, tells Eater via a translator she developed extreme pain and paralysis in her foot while using the machine, and that she and others who were using the machine complained of similar pain in situations. Workers of the San Jose plant also outlined a particular pattern of harassment, ageism, and gendered abuse. They say their complaints were either dismissed or they received retaliation for speaking out, telling the truth, and being a whistleblower. Workers at the San Jose plant allege a pattern of supervisors, managers, demonstrating preferences for younger women. I've seen there's a difference between how they treat some of the supervisors, treat the older women versus the younger women, says Bolita, who worked at the San Jose plant for just 9 months before it closed. They're giving the older women the jobs that are heavier and put more pressure on them. For the younger women, they spend a lot of the day talking and laughing with one supervisor in particular, the same supervisor who allegedly was touching himself inappropriately.